Hey guys, what's going on? It's Brandon. So all the publications out there, auto publications, auto journalists, they're all still lying. They're all still saying that the C8 zr1 is making more power than factory advertised. These guys are just not smart, man. They're just, you can sit there and explain truth to them. And my video got reshared on Corvette Forum, the last video that explained all this. It got shared on Corvette Forum. It has over 1,000 views. I've answered everybody's dunce questions, all the dunces out there who want to counter me. Long story short, as simply put as I can put it, correction factors are because cars make different powers at different altitudes and at different temperatures. It's called DA, right? The air density changes with altitude and temperature. The C8 zr1 also corrects already the boost pressure. Okay, it has an electronic wastegate and blow-off valve. It's controlling the turbo. It's controlling everything. So what happens is, just so you guys understand, the car could make over 1,300 horsepower if General Motors didn't have this program present. But what General Motors does is they have an absolute pressure, an absolute manifold pressure that cannot be exceeded. And so the electronics take care of the rest. So normally when you're on top of a mountain, you make less pressure. When you're down at sea level, you make more pressure. General Motors has turbos that can make 1,064 horsepower worth of boost on top of the mountains in Colorado. Everywhere else, they're still bled off. That's what that flat line is on the torque. When the torque goes up and becomes flat on the dyno graph, that's the boost controller limiting the amount of boost. And that's an absolute figure. So not to confuse you guys, because I know you guys are easily confused. You're all like mental dunces. Like seriously, it's disgusting being on a planet with you guys. Like the world leaders really are onto something that they need to reduce population. Our genetics of our species are just such shit that you guys don't understand this stuff. But the point is this. You have relative boost, which is what you see on your dashboard when it says, I'm running 13 pounds of boost. That 13 pounds or whatever it is that you're running is relative to atmospheric pressure. Okay? Then there's actual pressure, okay? Real pressure, not relative pressure, but real pressure. It's usually measured in pascals, okay? What is my actual real pressure? If you take the car out into outer space, there's an air pressure inside that, intake manifold. If you take the car down to the bottom of the ocean, there's an intake pressure inside that manifold, assuming you had pressurized air inside the manifold. What is that pressure? I don't care about what's outside. I care about what is the measurement inside the manifold. And that's called actual pressure. Some might call it absolute pressure. I forget all the different technicalities because I'm getting kind of older. But the point is this. This is all physics 101, guys. So the actual pressure is computer regulated. General Motors has a simple ceiling set. So the turbos are building boost inside the manifold, and then the electronic boost controller wastegate gets involved and says, nope, here's the ceiling. We've reached the ceiling. The car gets to the ceiling before the gear shift range. That means wide open throttle, you dance between, I don't know what the top RPM on the car is, 8,000 back down to 6,000, whatever it is. That's where you're at wide open throttle when you're shifting. It shifts to the next gear, you're back down to 6,000 RPM, you accelerate up to 8,000 RPM, shift back down to 6,000 RPM, back up to 8,000 RPM. The point is, you're at the boost limited figure. The torque is already being limited by that point. So when you're under a wide open throttle drag race, you are to the boost limited point. Now, will the car get up to the boost limit slightly faster or slightly slower depending on what altitude you're at? Sure, but the car gets there before the shift points. So that's a negligent, irrelevant concept, guys. I'm just explaining all the details because I'm so sick of low IQ pieces of shit countering me. You guys are such trash. And all these auto journalists keep publicizing, the car is underrated, the car is underrated. No, it's not. Paragon is just, simply put, they're retarded. They don't understand that they should not be adding a quote-unquote correction factor to try to figure out what would the car do. Let's use the SAE or STD correction factor to figure out what would the car do if it was at sea level. What would it do down there? It would be doing the same thing that it's doing up there. And instead of you guys testing that and listening to my videos and saying, oh wow, it doesn't matter where we go. Hang on a second. You can just give me back 4.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Thank you. instead of these guys like run with it and say, hey, Andrew at CSP and Brandon Byers at Vette Titans, they might be right. These cars might be computer controlled. Yes, we're right. We need to be testing the regular power, the unaltered power, and we need to be seeing if the unaltered power, uncorrected power happens to be the same at two different altitudes, because if it is, oh my gosh, that means this car is super computer controlled. Wow. It makes the same power up high as it does down low. And the reason why that matters, guys, is General Motors would know at that point that their car is going to do better at high altitude versus other cars. Their car is going to do better at hot weather, high altitude than other cars. So they would be wise to have their car race against other cars at high altitude places. 2,500 feet is Willow Springs. Okay. Ohio is between 1,000 and 500. Thank you, sweetheart. Have a good day. DIR is, 300, 500, something like that. So the point is, Georgia, all these places, there's places where you're at 300 feet above sea level in Georgia. General Motors knows exactly what they're doing. They understand how dumb you guys are. And then, like I mentioned in the other video, the other thing that you guys are all still too stupid to understand is General Motors can, at the flip of a switch, change the tune on all these cars. So for the first couple of weeks of initial dynoing, General Motors has the boost up on all these cars. And then when winter's coming, they turn them all back down. Why do they have to turn them all back down? And they keep them all back down? Because during the winter time, you can actually run the car lean because the single low side fuel pump can't keep up with the super cold air. The super cold air is more oxygen content. And that's in the situation where the car might make more power in super, super cold air. But altitude shouldn't change it. It's just the temperature of the air might change it. Time will tell. But the point is, it's not a coincidence that General Motors had their car race against other cars at Willow Springs. You put that same drag race at cold weather at sea level, I bet you those other cars win. Because now those other cars are making more power because they're not computer controlled as much as General Motors' car is. And General Motors' car is still computer controlled. So now those other cars have the advantage. So don't be surprised when Brooks at Drag Times and all these other guys with an SF90 and these other cars end up beating the heavier C8 Z06. No, that's not what we saw at Willow Springs. Understand why. I just explained why. Let's see if you learning disabled pieces of shit can learn anything today. See ya.